Welcome to the Builders of Authority podcast, a show committed to helping you build authority for your brand. In the realm of business and personal branding, authority stands as a cornerstone. Authority isn't built overnight, it's built over time. So join us as we build something remarkable together. And now, here's your host, Adam McChesney.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Builders of Authority podcast. We're live here at Adventure Unknown in Fenton, Missouri. If you haven't been out to Adventure Unknown yet, send me a message. Would love the opportunity to have you here for a visit, show you around this amazing place, even show you where we're doing this podcast live, thanks to Punchline Productions. So we've been doing our podcast here since March. They've been absolutely incredible to work with, taking care of literally everything from start to finish, which is why we're able to just do what we do best, which is show up here and have conversations with amazing guests. But at Adventure Unknown, a lot of different stuff that we have going on here, business, networking, social activities, a lot of new stuff that's getting added as well. So we'd love to show you around the place and show you what makes AU AU. Today's guest and I are actually meeting for the first time today. A few weeks back, we started following each other on social media, on Facebook specifically, got to talking and learned quite a bit about him and everything that he has going on. He has an insurance brokerage business. He's involved in a new movie, has thrown some events as well, and also has his own podcast too. So today's guest is Dan Luigs. Dan, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Really cool location. And I know I should have come to the bourbon event with some of the baseball Cardinals, but I missed that one.
All good, all good. Well, it's great to finally meet you in person and excited to dive into the episode today. So tell us a little bit about who Dan is.
Yeah, so I do a number of different things. The main income earning thing is the insurance brokerage, like you mentioned. Did get to help with the new movie Soul on Fire that comes out October 10th. I've got 4 different theaters that are going to be showing that before October 10th, where I'm inviting different groups of people and things too. So that'll be really, really fun.
That's awesome.
My family got to be in that movie. So each
Very
one of them
cool.
got to be on set for a number of different days. As a added benefit to my life, I got to know John O'Leary and his family really well. I knew John before, but then I also got to meet his parents and brothers and sisters, and got to meet Denny, his father, before he passed about 2 months ago now. So, yeah, so that's married, two daughters. I help coach all their sports teams and currently got 4 softball teams I'm coaching and another one I'm responsible for. So
that's no shortage of things you have going on.
For sure.
So tell us a little bit about kind of like the entrepreneurial space as far as like when you got in, how you got into it, what the journey's been like, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so at first I didn't have really any success at all within that space one bit. So I know a lot of times you got to just keep going, learning, and accepting some failures as actually successes because you learn through failure.
Yeah.
When I first thought, I'll do this insurance thing on my own, a buddy of mine had called and says, hey, I know these really smart guys, and when you come out to the office, you'll see the parking lot. The parking lot has got some pretty cool cars, so I'm not sure what they got going on, but they've got it figured out. So I thought, I'll come down, check it out. I'll start doing that on the side. And next thing you know, I decided I'd go all in and go full time at it. And I spun my wheels, and it really wasn't working.
Yeah. And
I realized the people that were so smart were really good at keeping the money and not sharing the money. And so I saw some things. I'm like, well, I got to pivot. I got to change. So I went and took kind of a consulting job with AT&T in an advertising space.
Okay.
Some guys I knew were there. They were doing really well. I'm like, all right, I'll go save some money up so I can figure this out again.
Sure.
And ended up getting back into the insurance space. Again, relationships. Buddy of mine was in it. He says, why don't you come over, work for a captive company for about a year. Didn't want to take that job because I was afraid they would change the rules. And when you've got one employer with one set of rules, if you want to stick around, you got to follow the rules. And I was afraid they were going to make changes. And sure enough, I was there 12 months, massive changes.
Yep.
And I'm like, all right, I got to figure out how to, get on the insurance brokerage side so that I don't have to pay attention to only one set of rules. And so I got a whole bunch of companies and a lot more freedom on that side, which was the important thing for me on the entrepreneurial side, was being able to do things like this is during the workday.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool to not have to sit at a desk for 8-10 hours a day. Like
Yeah.
being able, like, this is awesome.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of people obviously like love the idea of like being an entrepreneur or the entrepreneurial mind because of that freedom and flexibility. But on the flip side of that, obviously there's like things that are heightened, right? So it's like, hey, obviously, like I got to eat what I kill. I got to go do things above and beyond if, something happens after hours and it's important, like a lot of different things. And so what would you say that you've seen as far as like the trade-off, right? So you're talking about like the freedom aspect, but what are some things that like you struggled with to be like, hey, I got to get my ducks in a row. I got to do all these different things. So then that way I can still do all the other stuff and, have a family and take care of everything that you're doing.
Yeah, I had a neighbor years ago. He was a pretty smart guy, pretty successful guy. And I said, this is what I'm looking to do. And he says, we're going to have to work a lot.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I kind of get that. Like, family's important. I've got a daughter on the way. Like, this will be my first child. And he says, just go for it. He goes, they're not going to remember that you're not around Monday through Friday for 12 hours a day.
Sure.
Like, you'll be able to spend time with it. Because if you're going to do it now. Don't wait until they're 6 and 7 to take this jump.
Yes.
So, good or bad, I said, honey, here's the deal. I need to have an unlimited schedule Monday through Friday. And on Saturday mornings, I also need unlimited schedule until noon. At noon, I'll shut it down.
Yep.
But I need 5.5 unlimited schedule days to do anything I need to do so I can grow this business. Yeah. And I need that I thought I needed it for 2 years, but I told her 3. I think I told her 3.
Yeah.
And that went for about, 6 months or so. And she says, yeah, you got to slow down. I need some more of your time. And so that's not a good recipe for a long-term great marriage.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I've struggled with this as well. And even recently, like, we have a almost 2-year-old, and when I went out on my own, I left medical device sales in 2020 in the midst of the pandemic, 6 weeks after we used the W-2 to go buy our, dream home, right? And then I leave and I say, hey, I'm going to go on this sprint, kind of very similar, kind of like what you were talking about, right? And it worked. And then all of a sudden I got burnt out. And then, again, my wife was like, hey, Adam, like I understand you're doing this for us, but like there needs to be the us component tied into it. And then I went through and I became a partner of a franchise that I was a franchisee of. And I was like, hey, I'm doing this for my family because ultimately we have a newborn that's on the way. So I took like almost 9 months and kind of slowed down a little bit, was still working, but not to the same degree. And it was not just mine, it was other stuff. And then had to exit that because it just wasn't the right fit and couldn't sleep at night and had to go rebuild everything. So I was like, I told my wife, like, hey, I need kind of the 2 years. And then I took 9 months off. And then the last almost 2 years now has been kind of that up and down thing again. And so I think as entrepreneurs, like we have good intentions when we're doing those things, but we sometimes can easily lose sight of what matters most, thinking that we're doing the right thing and not realizing the unraveling that happens behind the scenes.
Yeah, I took that from a buddy of mine. He's like, I told my wife this, and I said, if we do this, then I can control the schedule again.
Yep.
Income will be there, like everything will be solid. And, doesn't sound like a horrible plan. Like that's a pretty short, in the scheme of a lifetime. However, in a marriage, I found that women need a lot more time and a lot more attention. And, by doing that, you're saying, hey, the business is more important than you. Yeah. And it's really not. You know, you and I both know it was for a short term.
Yes.
However, 6 months is a long time when, you feel that the business is more important than you. So we changed, of course, corrected kind of immediately when she said that, and started undoing some commitments I had in the evening time, and things worked out great. But just tailored the business to her needs. Yeah. And then really our needs. Yeah. And around that time, I started learning how to prioritize my wife as well, and starting to really understand what that meant to treat her as, a treasure that she is. So.
Yeah. Well, and again, I think it comes down to just staying focused on the right things and building the business around your lifestyle, not building your lifestyle around the business, which is a flip flop and a different mindset than I think most people, especially in how I got started, where it was all learning from the internet and learning from people, right? Like I didn't have a lot of mentors that were actively doing it outside of people that I would listen to and consume the podcasts and all that stuff. And it's so funny because you start to hear all of this stuff and you start to think, well, they're successful and they did it this way and they have that, but it's like they've been divorced 3 times and bankrupt and all that stuff. And so it's like, is what they have right now something that I would want? Maybe, maybe not. But in order to get there, it's like, no, I wouldn't sign up for any of that. And so people look at, whether it's me or you or somebody they find on the internet, they look at where they're at in that moment and comparing ourselves to that moment right there, but not comparing to the freaking roller coaster they had to get on.
Yeah, I had a friend, he used to flip tons of houses, and he was trying to catch this other guy who was his mentor guy. Whatever this guy does, I'm going to do. Then he got invited to spend a weekend with him, and he found out that guy had a horrible relationship with his wife and couldn't stop snorting cocaine. And he said, well, this wasn't what I signed up. If this is where I get to, this isn't where I was wanting to go. I just didn't realize. And so that was a massive revelation for him that he was going to have a massive train wreck and his family was going to fall apart, change his life. Now he's been able to help a whole lot of other families tailor their lifestyle towards where they actually want to get to.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I know, obviously, you kind of talked about getting started and kind of struggling and not necessarily knowing like how there was going to be the success coming from it to then being in a much better system that allowed you to have access to a lot more stuff inside of your business to be able to provide for people. Over the course of getting started versus where you're at now, how did you start to generate leads for yourself and to build a brand? And what has that evolution been like from the beginning to where it's at right now?
Yeah, so at the beginning, I connected with a guy. He had built a couple insurance businesses and sold them off, and he was a regional manager of a captive company. And I said, whatever he did, I'm just going to do that. And he showed me the playbook, which was, make all these cold calls. Maybe get a billboard, maybe get a TV ad. And then at the very end, he goes, oh yeah, there's one more thing. I was like, oh, what's that? He goes, there's these display homes in subdivisions. You might stop in there and say hi to whoever's there and bring them donuts because they like donuts. That's that's the whole playbook. Huh?
Love it.
That is not what I want to do, but unfortunately, I didn't think to ask good enough questions before taking this role. And I'm like, I'll just do that until I find something better. And then a little over a year later, I connected with a guy, and he was a coach, and he helped me think through some things and find ways to add value to people that could refer a lot of business to me.
Sure.
So he didn't necessarily connect me directly to those people, but he, kind of gave me information and tools that I needed so that I could understand the people and their roles and how I could help them and kind of serve them better. And then as a byproduct, lots and lots of referrals came in.
And then how, from a positioning standpoint, right? Obviously, in the insurance space, it can be looked at as a commodity, right? Where it's like, hey, whether it's price or, hey, I only want this coverage or that coverage. Like, how did you separate yourself to shift the conversation to where it wasn't always about what everybody else could offer?
Yeah, we have a kind of personalized brokerage. We've got somebody that answers the phone there, so that's a little different. I've got a staff which helped out a lot. So instead of me having to do every little thing myself, most of the typing and that, other people do that for me. So I'm able to spend more time with people and be able to do things like this and just be able to, grow relationships, wherever I can. So.
And then in the insurance space, right? So obviously there's a lot of different options. There's a lot of different competitors. What do you see that maybe you did differently that allowed you to kind of say, hey, I'm here at the start and I need to make this shift because I need more options and this is going to suit me better? What do you see people just struggle with and not get over that hump in your space?
Which hump is that?
Like the hump of, hey, I'm getting a new business started and I can't figure out how to generate my own leads. I can't figure out how to build an actual business. I'm just going to give up and
Right,
Yeah.
right. So yeah, at the beginning, it takes a little while to get all your systems down. So if you're starting like as a broker,
Mhm.
you've got maybe 10 different company websites to learn.
Yeah.
So like that's
That's a
a
lot.
hurdle in and of itself.
Mhm.
If you had some experience on that side and that's not the problem,
Mhm.
well then it's figuring out how to, just get yourself set up as a business and how to get the right insurance for your own business and how to this, that, and the other. So there's so many things that you can feel like you're doing things. I'm really making progress.
Yep.
And you're not focused on any money generating activities. And you get to end of month 3 and you go, gosh, man, I've only sold 2 policies and made $301.
Yeah.
Like $301 isn't the greatest number.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then the other issue is just understanding that in the first year, you're not going to make much money.
Mhm.
No, I'm going to make a ton. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Like I'm going to make $100,000. Cool. And you ended up making 15,
Yeah.
or you were on track to make 15.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to quit before that. So if you have realistic expectations, maybe have a baseline amazing and a miraculous goal.
Sure.
That way you've got something to keep your mindset, what do I do on a day-to-day basis? What do I do on a weekly basis? So you can keep track of that stuff. And it doesn't always have to be results-oriented. It can be leading indicators.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to grow this many relationships with these type of people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I want to find new referral partners. And so you can measure that type of stuff so you can find leading indicators that let you know if you're going to have future success or not.
Yeah. And then as far as like the growth of the brand and maybe like, again, kind of you mentioned like leading indicators, but maybe more like things that don't directly help with the business, but then help with the business. So like I use my podcast as an example,
100%.
right? Social media, I'm not like actively going and say, hey, I'm going to make this post or I'm going to do this or I'm going to go speak at this event because I'm going to get something right now. But how is like having your own podcast and doing some events and just doing other things outside helped you as an entrepreneur and then also helped your business as a byproduct?
So awareness is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like you,
Mm-hmm.
people that do anything online, they're like, oh, there's Adam again.
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
Dan again.
Yeah.
And so they get to know your personality, get to know what you're about. So that obviously helps.
Yeah.
Like we didn't know each other. Like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Like we already have a whole lot of things in common. We both, without getting into all that stuff, it's like, cool.
Yeah.
We already kind of know where each other sits.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was able to listen to your podcast, get to know you a little bit through the podcast without ever, I knew you're married, knew you had a younger child, wasn't sure exactly how old.
Yep.
So all these things, and I'm like, yeah, I remember those days of my life. So that's a big, big help. And then we're doing things to serve others in a public kind of way. You get invited to do other things. You get to invited into different rooms, into different companies.
Mm-hmm.
And I trust you.
Yep.
And you're not going to be here to take money away from my people, or you're here to give things, add value, and in return, you'll receive some money too, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been incredibly blessed to have some unbelievable people kind of open the door for me without me knocking on it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a testament to doing the work, showing up, and then not expecting something immediate in return of saying, hey, I'm going to go and do this thing, knowing that at some point it's going to pay off, whether directly or indirectly, and I'm going to have that, and that's going to be my brand of what people think who I am. And that's obviously where a lot of the authority part comes in, where it's like, okay, hey, if somebody needs my service or something where I can provide value and me and my company are one of the first things that pop into their head that they can go refer me stuff, that's obviously what we all want, right? The more organic, the warmer leads, the people that, as you mentioned, just need to do a little bit of research online, can go find everything that they need, and they already feel like they know the person. I think that's super impactful. But kind of backtracking a little bit, how has the insurance game changed from running the business or keeping up with all the different regulations and all the different stuff from when you started versus where it's at right now, and how is it continuing to change?
It's an unbelievable amount of change in a short period of time. Insurance is pretty stagnant. Not much changes very quickly.
Yeah.
Except for unbelievable change in the past 5 years. Most people are aware of all the headlines that are out there in the states that are having insurance problems.
Yep.
Missouri doesn't get as many headlines, but we're right up there with them.
Yeah.
So all these companies that lost billions and billions of dollars, and then the behind the scenes reinsurance companies, think Warren Buffett, lost money. Warren's got rule number 1, don't lose money.
Mm-hmm.
Rule number 2, see rule number 1.
Yeah.
So he shrank his risk. So he says, I don't want to have the possibility of losing 100 billion anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to shrink it down to 50 billion. So if
Mhm.
we lose again, I'll at least lose less.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that affected every insurance company in the United States because they couldn't buy reinsurance from basically Warren.
Mm-hmm.
And if they could, they had to buy it at a much higher rate, which is a big reason why all of our prices skyrocketed over the past, 3 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which then created a whole bunch of additional work,
Yeah.
a lot more client touches,
Yeah,
which is wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like in order to make the same, I got to do 2-3x the output.
Yes, yeah. So we hired 2.5 people
Mm-hmm.
to do the same.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh, that's great, you're growing. No, this is
Yeah.
additional service staff, so
Yeah.
this is straight off the top.
Mm. And then with the internet kind of evolving with AI and technology and all this stuff, what are you seeing right now, and what do you foresee from an insurance standpoint of more one-stop shop websites or more instant, what's kind of going on in that world?
Yeah, so there's quite a bit going on. So on one hand, there's driverless cars. 2 years from now, neither one of us are going to own a car.
Yeah.
Well, that knocks about half my business off.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Are these manufacturers, is Tesla now responsible for
Yeah.
car accidents?
Mhm.
Like, do they take all the liability
Yeah.
back to so there's a lot of change there. People have been saying that we won't be owning our own cars today.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they missed the mark on that prediction.
Yep.
Insurance wise, what else is going on there? The driverless car thing's a big factor.
I didn't even think about the risk mitigation on which side that would fall on.
Yes.
That's
yeah.
wild
Is it
to
me or
think
was it the
about.
software?
Yeah. That's crazy to think about. Wow.
So that one's a big change. And
Yeah.
then just all the other price increases and companies not taking on various things. Somebody today, hey, I got a great price for you, except they don't even want to cover you because the previous owner had a hail claim and put a brand new roof on for you. So unfortunately, we got to go to a company that's got a higher price because the previous guy had a hail claim and put a new roof on as you're buying. I'm like, this seems like a good thing. We got a brand new roof, which you get massive discounts for.
Yeah.
But yeah. So there's a whole bunch of unusual things in the insurance business that are creating difficulties for all of us, brokers as well as clients.
Yeah. Well, even the deductible shift,
the deductible shift is a massive
we
change.
we just had to get our roof redone, and it's the 1% of the home value versus it was like 2,000, previous, and it's just okay, and sometimes those things just change so quickly, as you mentioned, where it's there's not a whole lot that you can do, especially this year with those tornadoes and the storms that came through. It's you're kind of not necessarily anticipating that those things are going to happen, and then all of a sudden that shift happens.
Yeah, not that this is an insurance commercial,
but
FYI, that was an important point. The wind hail deductible you have on your home might be radically different than you think it is.
Yeah.
So what we did at our place was we sent out letters and said, hey, it shifted. And hey, we got some letter from you. Hey, did you get the one from the insurance company? I might have, but I'm sure I threw that one away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why did you guys send us a letter?
Yeah.
Well, it says right in the letter, first line,
Yeah.
got changed to 1%, let's see what we can do about it for you type thing. But at least our people either are very aware or at least had an opportunity to become very aware because we did something different than the norm. You know? So.
That's awesome. What is something that you wish, kind of go back to the beginning as you're talking, where you're like, hey, obviously if you would go back to that time and you knew you're at right now, very similar to myself, I'd be like, I would never have guessed I was here. But what would you tell yourself of whether it's, hey, just continue to do the work, it's going to be okay, tough things are going to happen. What's a piece of advice you would have given yourself to say, hey, these tough times are just a season, everything's going to work itself out?
Yeah, so I think a big thing, growing up in Fenton, Missouri, and my dad worked right across the highway at Chrysler, which awesome. Now Andy Frisella's got a supplement superstore right there in the same location my dad used to work. So work hard was a big thing for me. A lot of people say, I don't know anybody that works harder than you.
Yeah.
I'm like, kind of cool.
Yeah.
Except for, I'm like, I want to change that just a little bit. So instead of being a assembly line type of guy that works hard, I also want to work smart.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so, I talk to my daughters all the time about that. I'm like, there's one, you know, you got to work hard and when we're playing sports and everything, but we also got to train correctly. We also got to have coaches.
Yeah.
They keep asking me, why do you keep getting us individual coaches for individual things? I'm like, because I want you to be able to go as far as you want, as fast as you want, and do it at high levels you want. If you don't get to where you want to go, I don't want to be in the way. I don't want to be the one, like, I'm going to do my part. Up to you if you do your part. So that's what I tell myself is not only to work hard, but also work smart. And if you're not getting the results you want, or if you could dream bigger, there's something bigger. There's something, and it's probably a relationship.
Yeah.
So that was something that took me a while, was to find relationships, people that were really good at things in a way where I wanted to get to. I was in kind of a controlled situation where I worked inside retail stores. I was a sales manager. So my bubble was a retail environment.
Yeah.
There's some great things there, except for none of the guys I knew owned properties on their own. Nobody had rentals. Nobody had entrepreneurial stuff. Nobody, like, I'm like, as soon as I got away from that environment, I'm like, holy cow.
There's a whole new world.
Whole new world. A lot more new relationships to connect with. But the saying, you know, the average of 5 people is who you are, who you'll become. It's like, it's really been so true in my life. Helped my marriage. You know, when I was a little bit younger, I was going to be a dad, and somebody introduced me to this guy that said he also was going to be a really good dad, and he was going to start a podcast. He was going to write a book. He's going to do all these things. We ended up meeting with him and found out that he had invested money into getting all this started. He had a great partner to start his podcast. He's now got the #1 family podcast in the world.
Wow.
I was like, well, that was really cool to meet that guy at that time.
Yeah.
So as I'm wanting to be a great dad, as my child's not born yet, I'm like, oh, that's fantastic. And then I met the guy who's got the #1 health and wellness podcast in the world. I'm like, fitness is important to me. Met the guy that ran the largest sales force in the world, and he's become a friend of mine. And I'm like, collecting each of these different relationships and areas of my life that I want to be great at. I've got somebody way in front of me showing me the way has been a huge, huge difference. So if I could have connected with people in areas that I wanted to be great at, or had other people help me with my vision for future life at a younger age, I would have been so much further along. Granted, in the retail environment, I learned the sales, I don't say game, but learn how to sell at a higher level faster than most people would, because there's just so many opportunities to interact with people and learn different, techniques would be a way, but I learned from the guy who wrote the book, The Go-Giver. To sell is actually to help people get what they want. Like when you go back to the Old English root of it, I was like, oh, that's really cool, because that's what I've done my whole career, was just found out what people actually wanted and figured out a way to help them get it. Hopefully through me, but if it wasn't through me, like, I refer a lot of business out to other insurance companies, only because I know a better way to do it. And if it's not mine, it's not mine. I'm like, hey, come back to me for the next thing.
That's awesome. Well, Dan, this was a great episode. I'm glad we got the chance to finally be connected
for sure.
and meet in real life and learn more about you, but really just kind of dive into some of those key aspects. I think a lot of times people talk about just what it is that they do and talk about where they're at right now, but everybody's got a story in terms of where they started versus where they're at now. But appreciate you sharing kind of the personal side to it, because that's something I think, right, wrong, or indifferent, most people just don't share it. And that's really the core foundation of, the business can be great. You can be making all the money in the world, making all the moves, starting all the business. But if you personally and the home life is not there, then you're going to consistently feel unfulfilled. So
for sure,
I appreciate you sharing everything there.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I share one thing about the movie that's coming up?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So one of the people in the world that my wife said she wanted to meet was William H. Macy.
Okay.
Frank from Shameless. Like, there's no possible way that's ever going to happen. Through a series of events, John O'Leary movies getting started, Zippers Up asked me if I'd help connect people to people and raise some money to get this movie going. And COVID and the writer's strike and all these things conspired. Missouri passed the tax law for movies. So we got a big movie credit. We ended up not filming it in Illinois, didn't film it in Vancouver, ended up timing-wise here. With the writer's strike, there wasn't anything new getting written, so none of the actors had any work. This script was already written, and we said, hey, can we get permission? Writer said, yeah, absolutely. Like, so, hey, William H. Macy, you doing anything? You want to play Jack Buck? He's like, I'm in.
Oh, that's so cool.
And John Corbett from Sex and the City and a bunch of other stuff. They're like, hey, you want to play a big part in this movie? He's like, I'm in. Joe Courtney from Jesus Revolution. He's got like 5 million, 8 million Instagram followers.
Wow.
And like, hey, you want to play John O'Leary from St. Louis? So we got to film all over St. Louis, got to be in Bush Stadium, SLU College, the O'Leary personal home. They've actually, they were as real as they could be with this movie. I got to see it, and I'm like, I think everybody in the United States should watch this movie.
Yeah.
And also, it's very inspirational. It's great to see with friends that you know, great to be in a theater to see it.
Yeah.
So that when you leave, like, did you see it? What'd you think? And I got to see Jack Buck's wife. I didn't know who she was. After we left the theater, they said, can we talk to you? And so I gave my little thoughts. And my overall thought was, this is a great movie to experience in community, so you can experience everybody else's thoughts and emotions.
Yeah.
So this lady comes up and she's like, oh, it was amazing to see this movie about my husband and the way they honored my husband. I'm like, that's not John's wife. That's not Denny's wife. Who is this lady? Who does she think she is? And she continues to answer the questions. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that's Jack Buck's wife. And yes, this movie was very much about Jack Buck. And she's like, the way they honored my husband made me, Jack passed away a long time ago. She goes, it made me realize I'm even luckier than I thought I was to have been married to that man. And me and 4 other people heard her say this live, and I'm like, I got chills and tears are ready to roll out of my eyes. And so it's an awesome movie. There's so much St. Louis stuff in it. The acting's great. And the guy that did Soul Surfer was the director. Okay. So we got to meet and hang out with him. My wife got to have her wish fulfilled. Yeah. We sat at a neighborhood bar and at a bowling alley and got to have drinks with William H. Macy.
That's so cool.
So anyway, things can happen, people, connections, all that type of stuff that you'd never think was ever possible. But my wife put that out, you know, made it known.
Yeah.
And sure enough, things connected, and we were able to have not only that experience, but, you know, got to be connected to a lot of these Hollywood actors and get to know who they are as people. And Joel Courtney and I still are able to talk after that, and the director too. So
that's so cool.
You just never know. Like an insurance broker in St. Louis, why would you ever think you'd have Hollywood connections and stuff? Not that mine are great, but I do have 2 pretty cool ones.
That's incredible. Well, I'm excited to kind of see everything come out. Excited to
and like your podcast, like that. So I was like, hey Joel, you know, would you ever want to come on the podcast? And he's like, absolutely. He's like, what's your number? And he sends me a text from his phone. He's like, you know, real simple. Hi, it's Joel.
Just low key.
Just low key, huge movie star. All right, man.
Yeah, oh, that's awesome. Well, where can people stay connected with you online, your podcast, all that good stuff, so they can follow along in the journey?
Yeah, so I'm, I think, the only one on Facebook. Dan Luigs, Luigs. Yeah. And then Insurance Store is my business. We're in Chesterfield, and then I've got a podcast called The Journey of a Christian Dad. It's got a Facebook group, and then also, you know, just online, Spotify and Apple and all the places, YouTube and all that.
All the good stuff.
Do you get many YouTube viewers?
Depends on the episode. It also depends on how much the guest typically will share it. So like our guest last week, I think they were up to like 300 or 400 views on that video because the guest just kept sharing it. So I think it depends.
So if you're listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube, listen on YouTube, whatever, it blew me away to find out how YouTube is skyrocketing from a podcast standpoint. Absolutely. Which I've seen that on my own podcast also. I'm like, and I talk to people like, you've got an Apple podcast? Yeah. I'm like, what do you mean? What are you listening to it on? Like I listen to it on YouTube. I'm like, that is crazy.
Yeah, no, it's pretty bizarre, but really appreciate you coming on, and thanks for sharing everything with the audience today.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you so much for having me on, and this space is awesome, and this setup's great. If you ever get an invite, say yes.
Love it. Well, thank you all for listening or watching today's episode with Dan. We really appreciate the support. If you're listening to this on your podcast platform of choice, make sure that you download our episodes, you leave us a 5-star review, you subscribe to the show, all that good stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like this video. video, leave a comment, goes a long way. Share it on social media so that way we can get this information out to more people. And thank you as always to the team at Punchline Productions that is taking care of all this stuff with the podcast and Adventure Unknown as well. We'll see y'all next week. And remember, authority isn't built overnight, it's built over time.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode. We sure do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed to the show wherever you consume podcasts. This way you'll get notifications as new episodes become available. If you feel so inclined, please leave us a review. We sure do appreciate it. Until next time, friends.